Welcome back to Watching the Throne on the Late Night Chat Network, episode 47. All right, welcome back, everybody, to Watching.
We're here again.
We're here again, and we got a doozy of an episode to talk about here today. And Jay had already said it to me off the air that he's got a lot of questions for this one, so we'll get to them. It sounds like we're about to have a good discussion on these ones. So, welcome back, everybody. If this is your first time watching the channel or this show, make sure to like and subscribe. This is basically our Game of Thrones review, overview, kind of like deep dive discussion episode by episode that we've been doing lately. I'm rewatching the show for the first time ever. I've never seen it since the first time it aired. JT is new to the show. This is his first time ever watching these episodes, so that's hence why he may have a lot of questions, he said here today. So yeah, it should be
I actually went back and watched this one twice. Cheated. Okay.
You watched it twice, yeah.
I had to.
So Jay kind of got put onto the show finally after hearing about it, but never watching it through watching House of the Dragon. He liked that. Now, we figured let's go back and rewatch this. And we'll be getting to House of the Dragon as well. By the time that new season comes out, guys, we will be rewatching that season 1, and then talking about hopefully House of the Dragon week to week as the episodes air, which will be a lot of fun because you're going to actually get both of our initial reactions and hopefully whoever comes on as a guest at that time too of these episodes after they air, right? That'll be a lot of fun once we actually get to that point, but I know that's a ways away. But this has been a fun show, so definitely go back and check it out, guys. If you have never seen the show, you can go also rewatch our playlist here of Watching the Throne episodes. I want to give a shout out to one of our co-hosts here, Jay, on the Late Night Chat Network, though, Julie. Who,
really?
Even though she refuses to watch this show, she actually put up a funny something on her Instagram account the other day, like in her stories. It was basically this, like, I don't know, this Instagram account that basically said, like, oh, I got so much discipline. Like, she reposted somebody's post basically saying, like, all these people that watch Game of Thrones and I refuse to watch it and blah, 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 blah. And I just sent her like an angry like emoji or whatever to the post that she had up in her story, and she started laughing. I'm just like, I feel attacked by this fucking post. Like, you're still refusing to watch it. You're on the network. You know that we're doing a fucking show about it. You're still refusing to watch it. This is ridiculous now, right? Like, cut the crap, Julie.
Tell her too. Leslie actually re-listens to our podcast when we do this one because she's when she's at work and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because she just wants to hear what we're saying and she wants to hear my.
She wants to hear your opinions on it too. Yeah, she should. Shout out to Leslie actually re-listening to the show, rewatching the show, and she's going to be joining us actually in a couple episodes, guys. She's going to be on for the finale of this season, so make sure to check that one out. I'm sure that'll be a really interesting discussion. She picked another fucking crazy episode too, which I won't spoil for Jay because he's yet to hit that one yet.
I've already guessed it. I've already kind of think I'm leading down that right way with this first episode that we're doing today and the gift. And there's some things that were said in this one, especially with it's getting halfway point. I'm getting worried about Jon now, and there's some things that are coming up, and I want to see what's going on, So I'm thinking, oh fuck, it better not be that kind of episode if she wants to see me cry or something, or you know what I mean? Like it better be something good, right? So I think I know which one it is. When I seen the title now, I think I kind of got it. But
well, we are going to be talking about, as Jay just mentioned, this episode here today is Game of Thrones season 5, episode 7, which is called The Gift. What'd you think of this one, Jay?
Lots of stuff going on in this one, bro. You know what, man? There's a lot of really cool things that happen. I mean, okay, I was telling us I got to give credit to these guys that set up the scenes and stuff like that, the set directors and the set the choreographer, like the people who do the wardrobe stuff like that, right? Okay, you got to give them that. But at any point in this cold that they keep talking about over there, okay, have you seen like the frost come out of their mouth when they're talking? Have you seen snow dripping, like not dripping, but melting off their head because it's a little warm? You know what I mean? It just sits there perfectly on every spot. You know what I mean? I those are those little things that they kind of left out, and it's kind of like snow does melt when it touches your head. Because if it's colder than that, it's going to you'll probably be dead. So
yeah, no, good point. I guess they haven't spent as much time on the details per se, like, right? I think yeah, you have a good point there. I don't know if I can really point to a specific time where maybe they were focusing on that kind of stuff, right? I mean, there is a lot of nice shoot locations that they do have in this show. Don't get me wrong. Like, there is a lot of picturesque type moments. Yeah. But to your point, maybe there could have been some little bit more time spent on maybe details of them in the cold and some of these scenes. Yeah. You make a good point. Yeah. You bring that up. So that's something you notice, I guess, after watching.
I've never seen like the fog or whatever, when you're the mist, like when you talk, the heat, right? Like we're in Canada, so we know what it's like to be cold, right? When it does get cold, right? So, I mean, there's frost, there's shit that sticks to your beard. Like these guys have beards, they don't even have that booger stuff that comes from, like, and sits on the top of your mustache. I'm like, okay, come on, guys, make it a little bit more realistic.
No, good point. Good point. Good point. So yeah, I mean, that without that being said, though, what did you think about the events of this episode, like specifically?
Sad.
Yeah.
There's sad parts. There's interesting parts. There's you get to learn a lot about certain people in this one, a little bit more too than you thought. And it's building. I noticed it's building towards the next episode, which is probably building towards the episode after that, which is probably building towards the finale, which I'm scared.
Of course. Everything's coming together now, right? Absolutely. And like
see a little bit of the law,
and this episode and the next episode we're talking about, both great episodes. And that being said, I know for a fact the last two episodes that come after those, like you just said, in terms of the setup that's going on right now, are also really fucking good, because episode 9 was requested by our returning guest, Kyle, who will be coming on and joining us for that one. And episode 10, the finale, was the only episode that Leslie even fucking bothered to request originally when she actually said coming on the show. So that those are going to be fucking good episodes leading into a fantastic season 6. So like, yeah, this is really, everything's coming to a head here. There's a lot of like, people that you thought like they may have had it made up to this point. A lot of reversal going on here. A lot of shit's getting flipped on its ass, right? It's a lot of twists happening here. I think in these next two episodes that we're talking about, I think they're now showing you that any and every single character is in danger at this point. Like no one is spared, I think, at this point of possibly getting taken out, I think, is what these next couple of episodes are going to illustrate. And, I don't think it's spoilers by saying, yeah, I'm sure in those last two episodes of this season, Jay, there is going to be some big deaths, right? Like, I'm sure that's going to happen. So it's just, buckle up.
Who's there going to be?
It's going to be interesting. So
I'm liking Ramsey, man. This episode is making me like Ramsey. And I mean, I'm really liking that sick prick he plays, man. I mean, I'm really enjoying it, bro. I am. He's very, very good at the acting, to be honest with you. That part, at least, if he's not that person in real life,
he's a good actor. Yeah. I really enjoyed this episode as well. Some great moments in this one, a couple in particular, which I think are like some of the best things, I think, moments we've seen so far, honestly, in the show or in this episode, I thought. And not only that, like, there's a lot of shit too that I haven't remembered everything that had occurred in some of these scenes. So rewatching them, I'm kind of surprised at some of the stuff again, all over again, because there's stuff I had forgotten about, right? So it's been great. But yeah, without further ado, though, let's get into it. All right. Yeah. So as always, guys, I just pulled this off of like a Game of Thrones wiki. Basically, I forgot what the fuck it's called, but there's a Wikipedia site. I think it's like the Wiki of Westeros, which is basically they break down synopses of every episode, and it's very helpful for when we do this. to add our comments to and just kind of to guide us through the episode here. So here we go. First episode here, first scene here in this episode. John departs for Hardhome with Tormund and a group of rangers after speaking with Sir Alistair Thorne and Sam. Before they leave, Sam gives John some of his dragon glass weapons, reminding him of their use against the White Walkers in case he does, end up running into them. And this was a really good scene because it was very silent at the start. Like there's this whole great little silent kind of scene at the start for most of this where you see Tormund getting kind of dragged out and he's kind of like, are you gonna, take my cuffs off now? Essentially, like this is the moment, and you can tell like the guys of the Night's Watch are kind of like grilling John, not really agreeable to what's going on with this whole like him helping out the wildlings, and there's a lot of like questioning. It seems like going on in this scene somewhat, and
I think it's reckless. There's
and Tormund's like, is this for real? Like he doesn't even know still if he's on the level and if this is happening, right? So, but it's all really told through the actions of these characters. Like there's not a lot of talking in this first part of the scene, and then like you get a little bit before, obviously, when Sam kind of gives him the dragon glass and says, here, take this with you, might need it. Really great scene to start off the episode, though. I thought like the way it was done, like with it being silent mostly, right? So
yeah, and then it's just it's kind of cool seeing Sam there and talking to him and getting giving him the glass and protecting him, to kind of protect him. But I mean, John's taking a risk, man. He's trying to form man, right? So it's going to be interesting.
Then afterwards, Sam and Gilly visit Master Aemon, who is bedridden and dying from old age. Gilly brings her baby little Sam for him to hold and cheer him up a little. And Aemon happily notes that her son has a laugh just like his little brother Aeg, as he calls, which is King Aegon, who, I believe has been talked about, obviously, in House of the Dragon, right? And when he was a baby, in a moment of clarity, this is King Aegon, which is what? That's 5, I think, right? The 5th, I think. Roman numerals, I'm always...
I guess...
I think it's the 5th.
Yeah. I'm shit with Roman numerals.
Yeah. In a moment of clarity, Aemon gravely warns Gilly that she and her son must leave the wall while they still can before winter comes and the White Walkers with it. So yeah, he's kind of like, get the fuck out of here, and he's kind of in and out of it. Like he's kind of, he thinks that
he's delirious. He's passing over, man. He's slowly passing. You can tell, like he's sick. There's something going on with him, and they're staying by his side. I've seen this before. I mean, we've probably all seen this at one point, but and then you don't know what they're telling. It's the truth, and it kind of brings them back. But he's very, very, what do you call it? Sure to get, like, he's telling her, like, get the baby to the south, right?
Yeah,
you got to help because it's going to be a long winter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, winter's long.
Yeah.
But how long can it be?
At Winterfell, in the next scene, Reek brings food to Sansa. She begs him for help, telling him how she has been locked in her bedchamber since her wedding and is visited by Ramsay every night, who forces himself on her, basically continuing the rape. Reek simply tells her to obey Ramsay or else he would do worse things to her. Sansa asks what Ramsay did to Reek to break him to such an extent, but he can't bring himself to tell her. He tries to leave, but Sansa grabs him and reminds him that he betrayed her family, making Reek apologize profusely. Sansa informs him that her family still has allies in the north and tells him, like that old woman had told her, to light a candle at the top of the broken tower, which will signal them that she is in danger. When Reek refuses to do it, Sansa reminds him of his true name, Theon Greyjoy, and makes him promise that he'll help her. He hesitantly agrees. Instead, he trudges through the snow with the candle that she gives him up a flight of stairs and into fucking Ramsay's room. And then you get a scene where you see Brienne kind of looking on at them from afar, like kind of this whole, like, there's your fucking up
looking at the town or whatever.
Yeah, and you're fucking going up and giving them the goddamn candle. But we'll get to that scene. Very frustrating. Very fucking frustrating, to say the least, though, man. Like,
is she the ally? Yeah, because I mean, she's got to be the one watching for that window and that glass and that thing.
Yes.
Because obviously that was the only scene we seen her in this episode.
Well, this is the reason why they wanted to light the candle, because she told the guy in the bar, her and Podrick, told them
Yeah.
to kind of deliver a message of this. So that's what this would have alerted her. But anyway,
Oh.
yeah. So
Yeah, I didn't even. You know what? I only seen that on the second watch. That's why I missed that quick scene because that's how quick it was.
it was a very quick scene. Yeah. Then in this next one here, we got back to Master Aemon here. The couple stay at Aemon's condition. Sorry, the couple stay as Aemon's condition steadily deteriorates during the night, and he fades in and out of consciousness. Gilly urges Sam to get some sleep while she watches over Aemon, as she predicts that he'll have to conduct the funeral in the daytime. But Sam insists on being there for the old maester, who's always been good to him. Near the end, Aemon wakes up delirious from a dream, still lost in memory from his youth. He calls out to his brother Egg and says that he had a strange dream that he was an old man. Aemon passes away soon afterward. You know what? Yeah, I know. You know what, though? I will say this. It was nice that someone actually died of old age and respected in this show for once, right? Like, it's not like he actually died in his sleep of just literally old age instead of like something horrible happening to him. This guy led a long life. He's very fucking old. Like, this guy, won the lottery in this time to like survive this long, honestly. Like, think about it. And he dies as a well-respected man, at least within the Night's Watch, right? I mean, yeah, I guess he got disconnected from this whole Targaryen.
He was only 40, bro.
He wasn't 40. Get the fuck out of here. That's because he looks as old.
No, in those times.
I know, really, though. Yeah, no, he's still last man.
Yeah.
Then in this next scene in the courtyard of Castle Black, Sam eulogizes Aemon before lighting his funeral pyre, declaring for all to hear that he was the blood of the dragon with his Targaryen stuff roots. But now his watch is ended. Sir Alistair quietly warns him that one by one, Sam is losing all his friends. Yeah, he leans over and says, "You're losing all your friends, darling."
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens when you say, yeah, the guy he stares at. Yeah, we'll see what happens next episode.
Very quick, these people seem to be turning on them. Fucking now that John's gone, they don't agree with what's going on, and then they start fucking being a dick to Sam because, of course, John always looks out for this guy. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, it's they're treating him this way, and the guy's just trying to eulogize, this old ass Master Aemon, and he's getting threatened, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that's the poor guy. He's probably the smartest one out of all of them there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's killed the White Walker.
That's right. Next scene here. Later, Sansa is taken to see Ramsay on the ramparts, which are still under construction. While he is distracted, Sansa grabs a corkscrew lying on a nearby barrel and pockets it. Ramsay speaks of his thoughts on how they will easily defeat Stannis' army since their soldiers, unlike Stannis', are trying to fight in the snow, and how he'll one day be the Lord of Winterfell and the Warden of the North. Sansa reminds him of the unborn baby, who, if it's a boy, will have a stronger claim on the North since he'll be a trueborn. Ramsay tells her that he is Roose Bolton's eldest son, legitimized by the king, who Sansa reminds him is another bastard, where she's like, "What, who, Tommen? Yeah, another one." Right?
Yeah. Like, it took me a second to realize when she said Tommen.
Yeah.
He said it, right? And she said it. Yeah. It kind of took me a second to realize. Yeah, it's just
Ramsay
incest.
is obviously angered by Sansa's remarks, but doesn't act on it, simply stating that bastards can rise in the world too, informing her of Jon's appointment as Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, which she wasn't aware of. Ramsay then brings up why he summoned her and shows her the crucified and partly flayed corpse of the old woman who promised to help Sansa if she lit a candle in the broken tower. Really nasty what they did to her. This guy's talking about peeling back her skin and shit like that, man. Like, Jesus.
I don't know how he like just the stuff he thought of, the way he did torture, and then he's telling how what's it called? But they usually scream right to the end, and she had a heart attack before he even got to the head or something like that. So but her heart gave up, whatever. But yeah, man, you just see her there like frozen, and oh man, it was kind of rough.
Ramsay then reveals to Sansa that Reek, who seems miserable to have squashed Sansa's only hope of an escape, came to him and told him everything. Sansa chokes back tears as a gleeful Ramsay orders his men to take her back to her chamber. Reek, man.
Fucking
yeah. Reek is
believe it when it came to that part. When it came to see that, and then he went there right away first and did that. At first I thought, maybe he was gonna do it. Maybe he was gonna actually light it when I seen him running up the fucking thing. I thought he was going into the, to put the candle up, but no. And then when he walked in to see Ramsay, and then now all of a sudden this part, and I didn't see that all playing out right away. No.
Yeah, man. I just wish, like, despite him being so far on from the
But
torture, that this guy would fucking grow a pair, literally, because he doesn't have one anymore. But like, fucking, come on, bro. Like, like, step up, man. Like, what's wrong with you? Why would you you had the opportunity to get yourself out of this situation, and instead you go and fucking rat out the situation to Ramsay? You wouldn't have found out.
but I I have a quick question in that scene when before he brought her down there to see the body.
Yeah.
You you see her there, and this is like where I thought about that snow scene and how they were talking about that he was ready to go to war and all that stuff, and why did she want to leave, right? But she grabbed something on the top there before she got sent back, when he was talking about how she was beautiful, and she grabbed something as she walked by, and it never really shows you what she grabs, and I didn't see it in the next episode
I
either.
just told you it was a corkscrew.
It was a corkscrew, like, because I didn't even notice it. I even rewound it. I couldn't tell
Yeah,
what
it's
it
a
was.
corkscrew. Although maybe this information here is kind of spoiling that for you, letting you know, because they know what it turns out to be eventually, right? So I'm just
Well, I knew, I had a feeling it was going to be something to stab somebody or something, or hurt somebody with, or get out or something, like. But I just wasn't sure.
it's a corkscrew. Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have surprised me. Luckily, I didn't hear it. But now I
And
do.
this is troops
Now
make
I know.
camp during a violent snowstorm, and Davos meets with Stannis and informs him that 40 horses died the previous night and more will die come sunset. The Stormcrows, a sellsword company, have fled in the night. Davos thinks that they should go back to Castle Black and wait out the weather, since they do not have enough food. But Stannis stubbornly tells him that they will not retreat to Castle Black because he will not risk being known as the king who ran. As winter will soon arrive, they also run the risk of being stuck at Castle Black for years, during which the Boltons will regain their strength. Seeing no other way to convince Stannis otherwise, Davos leaves. What do you think of all this?
This is interesting because I don't know. Like, I know Davos says he said at the end of that, he said, sorry, Stannis said that we either march to the end, or we march toward death, or we march to victory, right? Like, they're going to Winterfell regardless, right? Like, they're going to the wall. They're going to do what they got to do regardless, right? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a good idea. Like, if if it's going to affect them, because they're not used to that kind of. I mean, they are supposed to be of the north, but still, they're in kind of like that weird area of the north that nobody's gotten to that point yet,
Right.
like, to take over. And that's cold, right? That's supposed to be cold north.
Listen to this next scene, though. This is pretty crazy. Stannis asks Melisandre if she is sure of their victory at Winterfell. Melisandre assures him, reminding him that he also saw the vision of his victory in the flames, but Stannis is not so sure what he saw anymore. Melisandre reassures him that her visions will come true, but also states that a sacrifice, one with king's blood, must be made in order to ensure their victory, implying that they sacrifice his daughter, Shireen.
Daughter, yeah, that's freaky.
Stannis
Man.
is infuriated by this suggestion and orders her to leave this scene.
I would too. I'd be not like it. Yeah, he's got to keep her kind of hidden, but he loves her.
Yeah. I mean, they just shared that moment in the last couple episodes where he kind of talked about that and spoke to her about that. And yeah, the fact that she's saying, like, listen, the only way we can ensure this anymore is if we kill your fucking daughter or someone with your blood. Then pretty crazy. Yeah. So yeah, the fact that she threw that suggestion out there, which is why somebody like Davos hasn't liked her up to this point, and hasn't really liked her involvement in all this, because he thinks that they should be winning this war the right way, right? Even though I think
Already, yeah.
Right, it's like they're a little, they've been struggling a bit, right? But I think he's if he can wrangle up the manpower to kind of take out the north here, like, we'll see what happens, right? Stannis could continue on, continue to go for the Iron Throne if they can get just past this certain situation right now, right? So
For sure.
okay, then we're back to over here to Castle Black. Afterward, Gilly is attacked in the dining hall but by two brothers, but Sam and John's direwolf ghost come to her rescue before she's kind of seems like gets raped or fondled by them or something. You know, they're gonna fuck around with her. And again, like it seems this change up within the ranks very quickly under fucking Jon Snow's kind of command all of a sudden, right? Like it seemed like they'd sussed out all these type of fucking creeps, and now like there's this type of shit going on as soon as this guy goes away. Sam is fucking badly beaten in this scene, though. He takes a fucking beating in this. Like the guy fucking punches him in the face like several times, like right square in the face, and then he gets up after getting beat and like has that whole speech about how like I took out a White Walker, I took out this other guy. Don't think I can't take you out or type of thing, right? And the guy's like, all right, whatever, I fucking leave her. They leave, but like this guy ass.
But he acted like a bro. He was a badass. Come on, he tried, bro. You know, he even took a beating. He was on the ground and got back up.
The part
and said,
coming out of nowhere to save him though was awesome, bro. Like when Ghost came.
It's like, yeah, that's his name. I couldn't remember his name off the top of my head, bro. And it was just a quick scene. He just came around the corner, gave a little growl, and then left.
Yeah. Well, anyways, then it got to JT's favorite part though. Still in grief at Eamon's death, and impressed by Sam defending her, Gilly climbs on top of him afterwards, and they have sex.
Bro, now that was fucking hot, bro. I felt bad for Sam because it probably did hurt, but he wasn't gonna say no. Obviously,
it's hilarious.
Just literally,
like on top of him, he's like, oh, he's like in pain. He's like, ah.
Back in those days, they didn't have to move their underwear to the side. They didn't have any. I thought about that too. Sorry.
That was fucking hilarious. His little wail though of his like pleasure and pain at the same time though. But like you said, he wasn't about to say no in that state that he was in, right? She gave him a wash down or rub down, with his wounds. And she just hopped on top and fucking went at it, man.
I feel like if Sam survives through this world or whatever, he's gonna be a maester, man. He's trying for that. He's got to be.
Yeah, he wants to become a maester. Absolutely. We've seen him studying and learning stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So you're right. That's
what I mean. Like, yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like that, and I'm like, but he's too nice. He's gonna survive. But he comes from a strong family, though.
He's doing all right.
They're not around anymore.
Doing all right for himself so far. He's getting laid. He's he's got some respect.
He's paying for another kid.
Good friends. John's his best friend, right? He's got some stuff going for him. Although that's not really doing much for him right now. But yeah,
it ain't helping for shit.
All right. So next scene here, we're back in Marine. Jorah is sold by Malco to Yezanzo Cuegas. What kind of a name is this? Before
dude, I didn't even bother looking it up.
Yeah. Before Yazan leaves, Tyrion convinces them that Jorah and he are a team, and he is also bought. I love this part where he's like, "Hey, you gotta buy me too. We're a team," and then he starts beating the shit out of the other guy with his chain.
He threw me off for that.
And the Malco, the slave trader's like, "Oh, you gotta admit he's funny at the very least. Look at this guy." He's like, "Fucking." Then he's like, "Oh, I better fucking do something," right? He starts beating them. I love Tyrion is the best when his back's against the wall, bro. Like when his back is against the wall. This guy, the shit that he fucking pulls off is amazing. Like, how many times have we seen him? Like when he's in these fucked up situations and he finds a way out of it, right?
That's what I mean. I mean that, and you know what makes it come to mind when that happens is that he is a Lannister. Regardless, he's seen this type of shit his life, so he's grown up watching, maybe his brother do it, his dad do it, and that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's not like he's stupid up here when it comes to by far. So I mean, he realized he could probably pull on that chain, get the guy to the ground, and then just start wailing on him, with all his might, right? Like fucking see what happens, right? But yeah, that was a good one. That was a good move. I didn't see that coming.
The dude's reaction though, that bought Jorah, he's just like he like looking around. He's like, oh, all right, here. He's like, here's 2 more coins. He's like, fuck it. He's like, all right, yeah, he's funny. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, I guess whatever. Here. I like that scene a lot, man. That made me laugh. I was just like, that's fucking hilarious. So yeah, and Marine, Daenerys and Dario discuss her impending marriage, which confirmed what we were suspecting last episode, Jay, here, that his Dar Zolorak, that guy who was like advising her, it looks like she's going to marry him because he's one of the heads of the family of Marine, just to kind of, I guess.
Politics.
Yeah, like exactly. It's a power move just to kind of make the people of Marine like her, I guess. She's going to marry this fucking guy, right? This dude over all the shit that she's been in lately, right? So very interesting.
Dude, it's actually a smart move. I don't think it's that dumb actually. If they try to keep her people in line, and if that guy gets off without getting killed, and he can be a king, why not?
After rejecting his suggestion that she marry him instead, Dario advises her that on the day the fighting pits are reopened, she should gather all of the great, wise, and good masters and kill them. Dany is reluctant to do so, as she believes it will give her the reputation of a butcher, to which Dario replies that all rulers are either butchers or meat.
Well, you know what? That makes sense, though. That's a really good line, too. I thought that was really good when he said that.
Yeah.
Because it's true. If you're not a butcher, you're the one that actually is getting eaten. You're the meat, right?
Mm.
So
yeah,
it actually was really good.
Oh, he's giving her some good advice between their fucking. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he just the bang, and that's how close it was to a titty scene with her. Like, okay, this is what they did. They teased me in this one, guys. What they did was she was laying on her back, and they filmed it perfectly where the arm stopped right where the nipple would probably show. Yeah. Okay, like they filmed it perfectly. I'm thinking, you bitch, because it's not you're not sleeping with Jason Momoa.
There's lots of great tits in this show. You don't need that. We even get to some later on, I think. Is it this episode or the next one? Because there's some great. Oh, it's this one. Some great tits are shown here. So, like, come on now. We got some.
I got a picture. Don't worry.
All right. So we're gonna get to that next. Hold on. What scene was that? Okay. So then this next scene in King's Landing, in the Great Sept of Baelor, Lady Olenna, your girl, your favorite character here, meets with the High Sparrow to discuss the imprisonment of her grandchildren, Sir Loras and Queen Marjorie. Although they briefly bond over over their ailments of how old they are, they're like, "Oh, what is it with you? The knee?" He's like, "Oh, the knees." She's like, "It's my hips," right?
They had a pretty good exchange here.
Yeah. She demands that he release them, and he declines, stating that they will be punished for their crimes. The High Sparrow tells her that the gods' laws must be applied to everyone equally. Olenna first tries to bribe him, but learning that he cannot be bought, threatens to end the Tyrell support for the capital by ending shipments of food. Again, the High Sparrow is unfazed, remarking that the nobility of Westeros have forgotten that they are outnumbered by the common folk, and tells Olenna to ponder what would happen with the many stop fearing the few. Returning, I guess, back to where she's staying here, Olenna receives a letter bearing Peter Baelish's seal.
Well, didn't he say they are the few? We are the few, and when the few start, when the few start,
are the few. He's
few, yeah,
threatening her that
was good.
An uprising of the common folk in the King's Landing, because as we know, there's so many poor people living below them in King's Landing that he's warning her. We, the people, like, we are in touch with the people. What would happen if fucking, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you refuse giving these people food, like, watch out what happens. That's what he's saying. Like, don't fucking push us, right? Like,
well, that's kind of like it doesn't ring more true to stuff that like nowadays. You know what I mean? Like that line for this episode, it was like perfect timing in like the time of the world we're going through right now, where like food's becoming fucking scarce and fucking
that's what
prices
happens. That's what happens when you push people to a certain point. There's an uprising, right? That's what I mean. Like it's happened. We've seen it happen many times in
this show.
Not even in the show,
in the world,
just in history, right?
Yeah.
absolutely. There's a certain point where people understand they have to band together in order to fucking overcome like the rich and powerful or the people that are fucking running shit, right? Which is even
Yes.
politically right now, you're seeing that a little bit. Like people are fed up, right, with certain powers
People.
that be right. So that's yeah.
That's something that stuck with me in this episode this time was that line because of the times now, and it's true that the rich people aren't that many, but the poor people are a lot.
Yeah.
So be careful when they're not afraid anymore,
That's
right?
that's why he kind of warned her in his pleasant way that he tends to have, right? This guy, because he's a man of God, right? So
Well, these guys are pretty good at it too. Like these two are pretty good at having an exchange. It's like that old person syndrome where they can talk and they just talk back and forth to each other, and they have that. Oh, I know you don't try to outdo me. I can outdo you. I'm just caught. You know what I mean? They were both good, man.
yeah, they're like, listen, we know all the tricks of the trade. No fucking point of playing games with one another here, right? Just like let's
As
talk
we
turkey.
find out, these guys know a lot of tricks of the trade, man.
So this next scene, meanwhile, in the Red Keep, King Tommen basically whines over his inability to help Margaery to his mom, Cersei there. He wants to start a war for Margaery, declaring his love for her to a dumbstruck Cersei. To maintain control of the situation, she offers to speak with the High Sparrow for him and advocating for Margaery and Loras's release. Although clearly suspicious, the still overwhelmed Tommen agrees. Like, again, the way he's going on here is just like, he's like, I'm the king and I can't even get any like, no one's listening to me, right? He's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do, right? And he's whining to his mother, oh please, like she's like, you don't understand, all I care about is you. And she's like, but meanwhile, she's gonna keep Margaery, I feel, as far away from him as possible, right? She's just lying to him with this shit, right? So it's
Tell him what he wants to hear.
yeah, exactly.
Is basically what it is, right? But he sounds like a whiny little baby, man. Like he just sounds like, oh, I can't have my toy. Can you give me my Soothie?
Yeah, exactly. What else?
I mean, I'd be crying too if I couldn't get that back too, right? I mean,
Sure. Well, that's the thing. He's saying he's going on and on about how in love with her she is. Like you barely have known her that long. It's just because you're in love with the sex he was getting, right? I mean, come on.
that's what it is. It's like most teenagers at that age, man. They fall in love with the whole.
They think they're in love. Yeah, that's all it is, right? So Prince Doran and Ario Hota bring Marcella to Jaime in the quarters where he is confined, as Jaime is concerned for her safety. We're back over in the water gardens here of Dorne. Displaying a somewhat more critical mind than her brothers, Marcella is suspicious about Jaime's diplomatic mission to bring her back to King's Landing. To which Jaime only replies that there are complicated matters involved. Marcella flatly refuses to return with him, stating her intent to marry Tristan. This was funny, man. Like she's just like, this guy goes out like risking his life to bring her back. And
And she says, "No, this is my
but
home."
again, she doesn't realize that she's legit his daughter, right? Like, and like, like,
And she's a target.
yeah, exactly. She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? Like, so
I think. I would think something a kid born out of like incest or something would probably be put in jail too as well with their parents back then, if not worse, right?
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works. They just eliminate the bloodline and make them a snow.
So, JT's favorite scene, and quite frankly, one of mine too in this episode. Bronn is
Well, I have a picture, so let me know when you want me to up. Oh, she's not. She's got clothes on. Never mind.
once we
It's not a good one.
no, it's okay. You can still show her off though who this person is. That and like honestly, this may not have even been her naked in this scene. I don't know. It's hard to tell at a certain point. Actually, no, they do show her in the full.
She's got some nice boobies, bro.
No, but there's a moment where
and they're perky.
There's a moment where you just see the boobs, but then they pan away and you see all of her with the boobs out at one point. Or actually, I don't know. Do they cut to just?
Well, no, it's because it's because what's his face gets a little bit when he's staring at her, and it's supposed to be through his eyes. He gets all blurry.
Yeah.
So you don't see the bottom part of it. It was close.
Well, for a second there, I was wondering if it was her or not, if it was just somebody else, like a body double, right? But I'm pretty sure this was her. So
Yeah.
Braun in this next scene, our boy Braun, and catching up with him, of course, who was also captured along with Jamie in this last episode, and Dorn. He's singing the Dornish man's wife in his jail cell, which
I wanted to find that song, man. I was like, gonna add it to my list, my like list. I actually liked it. I don't see if there was a whole song for that.
well, yeah, the greatest line of it is "I've tasted the Dornish man's wife" is the the chorus in this song, right? It is a good song though. Braun's a good singer. He's doing a good job.
Serenading the ladies.
Maybe we can find it for the outro. He's in his jail cell singing this, while in the adjoining cell, the Sand Snakes, who are also imprisoned, listen with a mix of annoyance from Orbara and Nymeria and amusement from Tyene. After he finishes, the two parties trade barbs, and Tyene inquires about Braun's arm, which she cut with her dagger during their earlier fight, which Braun brushes it off as a new scar. The two begin to talk about Tyene's beauty. There she is, yeah. And which Braun dismisses until she begins to disrobe. But she's like, because at first she's like, she's the only one that enjoys his singing. She's like, oh, he's a good singer, right? And the other two sisters are like, oh, disgusting. And she's like, and she gets up, she starts talking to him from across the way, starts hitting on him, flirting with him, right? And she's like, oh,
Gets his heart rate going.
you not think that I'm the most beautiful woman you've seen? He's like, I don't know. I've seen some really good ones in King's Land. And then he starts trailing off, and she starts like flashing her really nice looking tits in this scene. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's.
I mean, you can't disagree. I mean, I think the women would say the same thing too.
Yeah,
on this channel.
Let's not dance around it. They're very good. Braun then stares intently.
Better than
Braun stares intently and begins to change his mind about her. Tyene once again inquires about his arm and then his head, at which point Braun's nose starts bleeding and his vision blurs. Braun collapses and tries to play off his sudden illness by Tyene reveals that her daggers were coated with a slow-acting poison called the Long Farewell, and her attempts to seduce him were to get his heart pumping faster. Really fucking smart, eh? Really smart.
But I didn't her father do that to have that same sort of thing, like when he coated his dagger, like when he went out to fight before he died, right?
Yeah, because that's where she probably got it from. They know they're poisons. That's why he was called the Viper.
That's crazy.
Or no, the snake and they like, because
remember, like, and the Viper or something, remember that episode?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was
Viper.
Yeah. Because that was his whole thing, right? Is that he studied. That's why they thought he was responsible partially at first for killing Joffrey, because they're like, didn't you study like poisons or something like that? And he's like, yeah. He's like, and like, right, like that was because like that's why they thought he may have been guilty at first before, right? It's because of that, right? So you're right. They're good with their poisons, which honestly is pretty good. All you gotta do is poke this guy and he's dead, right? In the long run. So really
slowly.
Good. And just the
that's cool.
I was trying to seduce him to make his heart pump faster, so it can't it would kill him quicker. It's pretty smart, man.
That's yeah. She knew what she was doing. She's like, hurry up.
I got really scared in this scene because like I'm like, oh no, did Braun die here? I'm like, I couldn't remember. I was like, oh no, like Braun, because I love Braun, right? I was like, holy fuck. Anyways, she points to an ampule on her necklace, which contains the antidote just right after that, but only offers to give it to Braun on the condition that he agrees that she is the most beautiful woman in the world. Growing weaker, Braun barely manages to reply to her, and she tosses the ampule to relieve Braun. Tyene smiles smugly at him and remarks that she finds him handsome as well, before robing and sitting down next to her mildly amused half-sister. You know, thank God.
I think they're gonna get together and bang.
I was about to say, thank God she was actually into Braun, or she would have just let him fucking die there. She wouldn't have given him that antidote, because the way that guy sucked that down, like he was dead in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
it was. That was, and she like had to throw it, and she's like, "Don't fucking drop it." And this guy's like this, like he's just like like he's just trying to catch the fucking thing, right?
Yeah, it's like on his chest. Yeah, he grabs it. And
so fucking close.
The little thing back.
I thought it was up for Braun here in this scene. I honestly couldn't remember. I'm like, dead here? Like I was really scared.
Imagine for me, man. I was like, another one gonna go? Fuck.
Great scene. Then we got Littlefinger. He meets with Olenna in his ransacked brothel, which he's very upset about, it looks like, where they share a tense conversation. Olenna reminds him of the role they both played in Joffrey's murder, and that should her house fall, she will have no reason to keep his involvement a secret. Littlefinger explains why he returned to King's Landing. He dared not refuse Cersei's summons and was obliged to give her information. He tells Olenna that he will give her the same thing he gave Cersei, a handsome young man, implied in this instance to be Lancel. So it looks like Baelish is still trying to help her. I mean, Baelish is, although he's kind of come a long way, he's still kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place of like a few different situations right now, right? Like, but he doesn't look phased. This guy just thinks he has it all worked out right in his head. He knows.
Well, he's got you can see the evilness like in his face that's there now. Like you can see he's angry because when he walked into his brothel all messed up, and he told her straight up it was a nice place, man. You could, sorry about the way it looks, but you know what? Even the way it's being trashed, it still looked like a historic place. If that was some historic building that they fucking redid, it still looked good, even though there was some spray paint over the art, and you know what I mean. The 7.7 star or whatever it was over the art. But yeah, fuck, I'd be pissed too if all my brothels got trashed. And it's funny because they kind of admitted to, like, he kind of admitted to what's that word? What's that thing? Coming up with ideas that happen there, creating his own, like, at the whorehouse instead of just the regular sex, probably all different types of it. He alludes to that, right, and says, we even created some of our own, to indulge, right?
Right.
It was kind of cool. It's like the beginning of the brothels. It was kind of got me interested. But he always has me interested.
Absolutely. No, he's a great character. All right, so here comes probably my favorite scene of the whole episode, though, this next one. Yazan takes his fighters to Meereen, who he just bought, which is Jorah and, of course, fucking Tyrion, to test them in the lower to test them in the lower pits and seek out those who are worthy to fight in the great pit of Daznak. They fight in front of a reluctant Daenerys, as Hizdar has convinced her that Meereen's ruler occasionally makes the rounds to the lower pits ahead of the main tournament. Jorah enters the pits early because he overhears her in because there's a lot of hubbub outside of the arena, and then like he's sitting there, they're at the end of the line to come out and fight him and Tyrion, and all of a sudden like he hears like what's going on, and he runs up to the front, sees that she's sitting there, and he's like, okay, I got to make a move like to get noticed by her, because this is the whole point of him coming out there, right? So he enters the pits early upon realizing that she is watching and will be repulsed by what she's seeing. And she almost gets up and walks away. Like she's about to get up and leave. And then he runs out and she sees him, like he comes out fucking guns blazing, just like kills like a couple of people right off the bat. Like just came up and like smashed someone's head down and killed them. And she gets, she sees this going down. She's like, is it like, or like, what's going on with this? Like, there's like, all of a sudden she's like, okay, I'll sit back down. And he elbows down Yazan, who tried to berate him and like tell him to go back in and wait his turn, knocks him down. Jorah easily defeats the other fighters without killing them, impressing Dany enough to prevent her from leaving, because he's actually not killing them, and she was kind of disgusted by the fact they were all getting killed, right? When he reveals
he busted one of the shoulders, one of them really good.
Yeah. When he reveals his identity, however, her face swiftly twists into a scowl and she orders him taken away. Before the Unsullied can comply, Jorah declares that he brought her a gift, and Tyrion enters the arena and reveals his identity to the astonished queen, which was also a cool part when that big fucking giant, like basically he was trying to get the chain off, and he was trying to run out, Tyrion, and he couldn't get the chain off, and then all of a sudden that big guy helped him inside the thing, and he knocked the fucking chain off for him. He's like, thank you, right? And the guy's like, he just like nods to him, and he like runs off. Honestly, what a great Jorah scene, though. This was awesome seeing him throw down in front of her like the way he did. And like, it sucks how it ended, where she was still like, I don't want to see you, after he pulled all this shit off. But like, what a great fucking Jorah scene, though, I thought, man. It was really, really, really intense, this scene, man. Like, really, there's a couple moments, like you said, now they're just playing with the viewers expectations that someone's gonna die every scene, right? Where you just had Braun almost die, then you're like, oh no, is Jorah gonna get taken out in the fighting pits? And he just like whoops everybody's ass.
And the best is that helmet too that he comes out with too, just to disguise himself. You know, like it doesn't. You can't tell with that fucking mask. Like, I'm surprised you couldn't tell right away.
Yeah,
right?
really cool.
Well, he did good. It was crazy, man.
I liked this scene a lot. But we're not done yet. Holy shit. All right. In the Sept cells back in King's Landing here, Cersei meets with Marjorie and brings her food, but Marjorie refuses, revealing that she knows her mother-in-law is responsible for having her and Loras imprisoned. Cersei, fearful of being overheard, denies this. Marjorie mocks Cersei for her unconvincing lies of trying to save her, going as far as to say that while she knows how to lie and scheme, she doesn't understand innocence and decency well enough to fake them, which is not wrong. They're like lying through her teeth, and she's like, yeah, okay, like get the fuck out of here with this bullshit, right? She's like, yeah, you're not responsible. And the way she's just looking at her, like daggers in her eyes, like she fucking hates this person. Great acting on the actress's part for the hate for Cersei in this scene, man. She is fucking like, you know what I mean? Like
her facial expressions.
Yeah.
Like she's got like the bitch face of all. It's just one of those things. Like she has that look where she can just look at you and you know you can see that expression, and when she doesn't like you, you know what I mean? She's very good with that.
She doesn't understand it and well enough to fake them, which Marjorie suspects is why Tommen loves her, Marjorie, and was willing to send Cersei back to Casterly Rock. Cersei, concealing her fury, tells Marjorie her trial will soon begin and that her son needs his mother more than ever. Marjorie throws the stew at Cersei and yells at her to get out. Cersei leaves the cell, smiling smugly at Marjorie. Such an evil fucking bitch, man. Terrible. So fucking. I mean, but you know, these two were kind of going back and forth at each other. But like Marjorie was just kind of trying to ridicule her. Meanwhile, this one, she's like, she literally like imprisoned her. Like, that's pretty crazy, man. Like, yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty dirty what she did. But karma's a bitch, folks. Here we go in this next scene. On her way out, a still gleeful Cersei meets with the High Sparrow in a chapel that predates the Great Sept. The pair briefly discuss the legal process that Marjorie and Loras will face as the conversation goes on. However, it's clear that the High Sparrow is about to turn the tables on Cersei. And this is where you learn that all along, this fucking guy knew about what she had done because Lancel, the cousin Lannister that she was banging before, you learn in this scene had revealed the reason that he went to these guys, these religious guys, and when he went to them, he revealed what he did wrong with Cersei at that time. So he let her play into him, like just to get the power, like of her putting him in the position of power and prominence in the city, bro. He knew what she did this whole time. This is what you gotta see. You gotta read through the lines here, bro. Like in this scene, he basically admits that he's like, oh yeah, Lancel, he had come to us and he was very broken when he came to us. And then all of a sudden he appears. And so he fucking knew this whole time what
that's the one she was banging too before, right?
Yes.
When he was younger, yeah.
Why he imprisons her here, because he knew of her indiscretions. He's probably the only reason he didn't fucking, I think, act sooner on this is because he was not in a place of power. They didn't respect the church. They didn't respect this religion. So she put him in a position of power to get back at Marjorie. And guess what, bitch? That fucking backfired.
It's fucking backfired.
It's backfired in your fucking face. Because you want to know, you don't think people around here don't know all the dirt that you fucking done here in King's Landing, right? Jesus Christ. It's crazy this scene, man. Like, I just like how they don't really spell it out for you, but if you listen to what he says when he talks about Lancel came to us and he was really fucked up and messed up and you know he was in a bad
sins, yeah,
right, and that means he admitted what happened at that time with him having sex with fucking Cersei there, which is his family. So
yeah, and he had they showed him some. Well, they show him because he's studying or doing whatever that is. If it's either priest uh, or like you said, that we were saying the septons or the like the law in a sense too at the same time, right? It's basically both in one, right? But
that's Cersei's doing. They were not in this.
Yeah, I know. She fucked herself.
They were not in this position when she went to him at first, right? Like that he's the one that put him in this position of power because they didn't follow a faith anymore, the city, right? Like, so that's why she kind of was just like, oh, I'm gonna put you in this position of power so you can take care of my enemies. Little did she know it was gonna fucking backfire on her, right?
Well, that's what he said. I mean, anybody from the high town to the you know the lowborn, anybody, doesn't matter if you're a king or if you're trash, you're still gonna get basically prosecuted the same way.
So when brother
of the book or whatever.
When Brother Lancel appears, Cersei realizes what is about to happen. She turns around to try to walk away, and her triumphant smile begins to crack. And when the High Sparrow has an irate Cersei taken into custody by a group of Scepters who ignore Cersei's threats and lock her in their cell at the end of this episode. Oh my God. Yeah, this was a crazy fucking, and I was so happy to see this happen to her once again. I loved it the first time, and I loved it this time as well because she was so, I just loved seeing her get her comeuppance for once in this scene, right? Like finally, right? Like,
You're saying that because she was the mom. It was a mom. It was what's it called? Joffrey's mom. That's the reason you cared. Like, suck.
Yeah, but here's the thing too: the nun that came in at the end there that fucking whisked her away. That actress is Sue. That I actually just found out very recently, and I know you don't watch the show, but there was a popular show that just ended, I think, on its third and final season this past year, called Ted Lasso. It was a very, very popular show. She's soccer team owner, this woman that is the nun in this scene on that show. And I never realized that until recently when I seen like a meme or something on Instagram where it was like, oh, it was today. I was today years old when I realized that the woman from fucking Ted Lasso is this. Actually, it'll spoil something, I mean, about the character, a line that she does somewhere later on in the season, so I won't spoil it for you, but there is a she just recently, I read something, and we can talk about it on I think probably the episode Leslie comes on, we can probably talk about it. This woman, the nun, she has a line, and she actually during the strike has she posted something recently. I read something online the other day that said that she will act as this character in order to raise money for the people that are not getting paid during the strike, essentially. Like she actually had said, yeah, which is a kind of a really fucking cool thing that she did because this character was, I guess, popular with folks. She basically, let me see, I think I took a screenshot of the post that I read, but she basically said to help out, some of the people that aren't actors, but just work in the industry that aren't getting paid right now from the unions and stuff like that. Or have to pay union dues and all this shit. Like she's basically she made a post saying that she'll go out and like play as this character in order to raise money or something for those folks. So that's really fucking cool. I had seen that post recently about this, that she finally showed up in this episode because I forgot when I didn't know when she was going to show up, this character. So anyways, she's gone on to play like huge parts. Like that Ted Lasso show is very, very popular. And this is the same actress that played this nun in this show, which I had no fucking idea. So really, really cool. So just a little inside kind of like, information for you guys out there.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the Ted Lasso show. They keep telling me to watch it, but no, I think I seen like you vaguely see that wasn't the picture that I showed you with the nun. She was, I think, in one of them in the background at that point. But yeah, no, I have to check it out and check out who you're talking about, what her name is.
Okay, so maybe it's Charity. Maybe it isn't people that are doing the strike. Well, hold on. So it says Hannah Waddingham, who is the actress's name. I just found the post. Will follow a person of your choosing around while chanting this line, which is from the show, which I won't say. But basically it benefits charity. Like she's literally put herself up and said that she will do this. Now I don't know if this is a joke post, but when I saw the post, I believe it was real. So that's pretty fucking cool if it's true. So it may be a joke. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it was just a funny kind of meme or something like that. But
Oh, dude, I know her. I've seen her in so many
yeah,
things. I
yeah,
know who
she's
it
a
is
very
now that I see her. She's blonde.
yeah, she's a big, tall blonde, like
Oh,
statuesque type blonde. Too. Yeah, but
yeah.
she's been in a bunch. But like I'm telling you right now, like her most popular thing that she's done is got to be this, and also like I said, the new Ted Lasso thing. And I never made that connection. No, she's a very pretty woman, but again, you can't tell in this fucking show because she's got the nun thing on.
Oh,
And you can't tell. Like that's why I never made the connection until I seen the post saying that she was yeah, she's English, that she was the same person from Game of Thrones. So I was just
yeah, I watch a thing from her too. The Sex Education. She's in Sex Education. I'm pretty sure
oh,
she's
is
the
she
mother.
on that show? Okay, yeah, she's great. I really like
Yeah,
her.
she's the mother. Yeah,
I really like her in Ted Lasso. No, she's awesome. So like I'm really happy that she's had so much uh that
and that's the British
yeah,
show,
I never
Sex
seen that one, but
Education.
I'm aware of it. Yeah. So there you go. So that's her
Yeah.
name, Hannah Waddingham. Yeah, I mean these are the two things that I'm best known for is Game of Thrones and Ted Lasso now.
Yeah,
There you
I was
go.
gonna show it in case nobody's ever seen her. This one here. We give her word out, but this is not what she looks like on Game that much.
Yeah, no, she's pretty. But you can't
Very-
tell from Game of Thrones because she's got the whole shawl thing on or whatever, right? Like the nun, clothes. So yeah, so there you have it, guys. That's this episode. Wow, what a fucking twist to end off on, though, man. Wow.
Well, I'm scared, bro. And I think, like I said, I know where these episodes are going. I think now I'm starting to see the storyline play out a little bit in my head. So I'm starting. The problem is I'm asking too many questions. So I got to stop because I end up asking stupid questions. Not stupid questions, but nothing's a question. But I mean questions that if stuff that you're good at keeping your reaction and your face kind of same to me, like the same as always. But yeah, if I asked the wrong people, like Leslie giggled about something, so I know I'm going down the right path when she giggled, right? Like I know I'm thinking the right way,
Yeah.
in that sense. And I think it was in the next episode.
You gotta be careful then. You gotta be careful then. Now, that being said, did I answer all your questions, your burning questions this episode? Or is there anything we didn't cover? Because you said you had questions, or you weren't sure.
I don't. Yeah, see, that's why when I had stopped, because I'd stopped writing it, I watched it second time, right? And I thought it was the no, I think it was the what did I say?
What did she
It was the
grab?
market. That was the what did you grab? But it was also something to do with, and I don't think it was in this one. I think it might have been in the next one. Now that I'm thinking about it,
Okay.
because it's not making sense. It might be one that I've written down because I have stars kind of besides certain things on here.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, but as we go through, like I was remembering it like crazy yesterday when I was talking to this. Like I was getting too excited. I was getting overhyped. Like, why are you coming into this episode? I feel like she's coming into an episode, like I said, where either John's gonna die or there's gonna be something that's gonna happen. Because I don't know about that. I think it might have to do something with the court, like with the septon and stuff like that, or because of just because of the name of the mother's what do you call that?
I'll say this. There's big
Cersei asked about it.
There's big endings for almost all these storylines at the end of this season, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, so
I feel like the whole world's gonna die at the end, and that's the end, bro. Like these guys are just gonna kill the shit out of each other, and that's it, man.
no.
This next one is crazy, but let's
Yeah.
talk about that one when that comes, man. That one's fucking nuts. But yeah.
So guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. The next episode we'll be talking about is season 5, episode 8, called Hard Home. And that's another really big episode, as Jay mentioned. So make sure to tune in next week, guys, and check that one out. As always, these have been dropping Thursdays live at 8 p.m. You can tune in, watch them live if you so choose to. We are not on there live, but we pre-record these and drop them live. So if you want to watch them when they air, you can, or you can always go back and check them out in the playlist. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out some of our other reviews stuff on here on the channel. We got lots of great movie reviews, 35 episodes of something called Late Night at the Movies that hopefully will come back at some point soon, guys, where me and Jay talk about, we kind of have discussions like this, but about films that we've watched. So yeah, really good stuff there as well. So definitely check that out and stay tuned. Guests are coming up at the end of this season, so make sure to check those out as well.
Cool.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
guys,
We'll
man.
see you later.